Hey guys! As promised, I'm back with some more World of Tanks content, looking at another premium tank. This time, the lucky winner is the T34, the American premium heavy tank at tier 8. The T34 is one of the most expensive tier 8 premiums out there, costing around 43 to 44 euros, so if you are thinking about getting one, maybe wait until there is a sale going on if you are not in a rush. If it's a good tank, well, pretty much all premium tanks have some serious pros and cons, and the T34 is no different either. And that's exactly what we will have a closer look at in a second. Before that, however, if you want to straight jump to the first-class steel wall high-caliber gameplay I did prepare for you, just hit that timestamp in the description below. With that settled, how could we sum up the T34 quickly? Well, imagine a fatter, slower T32 with a big old gun that lacks any kind of finesse, but my god does it hurt when it hits. So let's then start with that big gun. It's the 120mm T53A1, so finally an upgrade after the T29, but it does come with some serious drawbacks. Basically, it's fat and slow like everything else on this machine. It will, however, finally pack a punch, and the 248mm of average penetration with the 400 average damage will feel significantly better than that old 105mm gun back from a tier lower. You will just giggle every time you shoot it for the first couple of times, right up until the point when you start to realize that you have a 15-second reload between shots, resulting in a mere 4 rounds per minute rate of fire. Your aiming time does not make things better either. 3.4 seconds is god-awful, and it takes forever even with an enhanced gun laying drive. Your accuracy is actually much better on paper with 0.35 meters, but it won't really feel that way, cause if you don't wait for it to fully aim, it will have horrendous accuracy. All these weaknesses have already pretty much determined what you need as equipment here: gun rammer, vents, and vertical stabilizer. Pretty much all of them are a must, so be prepared to spend a lot of credits after spending a lot of gold. Jumping over to protection, we have a pretty average health pool of 1500, so there is nothing special here. The armor itself follows the American heavy tradition so far, giving you an incredibly tough turret. From the front it is still very tough, even if it's slightly weaker than what you have on the T32. The interesting part is that the back of the turret is surprisingly well protected with a ridiculous 203mm of armor, while the side of the turret is surprisingly weak at only 127mm. So if you manage to get behind the T34, do yourself a favor, ignore the turret and shoot it in the ass where it only has 51mm. The hull from the front is still well angled, but at the same time it's much weaker with only 102mm of armor, and there is even a weak spot on it that's missing from the T32. The sides are once again rubbish, with only 76mm. Moving over to mobility, the list of weaknesses continue. While you have your usual top speed of 35 km per hour, your acceleration is complete rubbish, meaning you will mostly have a hard time getting to this speed. Especially ramps and hills give the T34 a hard time. And you could not really call it agile either. It has the second worst hull traverse at only 22 degrees per second, and the overall worst turret traverse in its tier with a horrible 18 degrees per second. Let's just say that if you manage to get yourself out of position, you will be outplayed really easily by most opponents. Equipment we already did discuss, and regarding crew skills, it needs the same what you already have on the T32 anyway, so it's actually perfect to switch the T32's crew back and forth between the two machines. Just to recap, 6 cents and repairs in the first wave, and then prioritize clutch braking and snapshot. So it's verdict time. Is it a good tank? And most importantly, is it a good tier 8 premium? Well, that's a tricky question. Yes, you can make the T34 work very well, but good opponents will know your many weaknesses and will often rush you after you fired. Thus, it is highly advisable not to be the first tank holding the front, but rather stay in the second wave. The fact that you are a huge lumbering beast with a massive aiming time does not support the peekaboo style of playstyle either, that you mostly have to play from a hold down position. But if you don't mind being a meaner, fatter and slower T32, and you prefer to fight hull down with a meatier gun, then it can be a good choice. And what's for certain is that it fulfills the primary requirement for any tier 8 premium. This thing literally prints money. Even if you get killed right at the very beginning of the match and you do not even get to fire your gun once, you will still run a profit. You really have to go out of your way to make a loss on this machine. Basically fire huge amounts without causing any damage or burn through a serious amount of APCR ammunition. So as for myself, I use it as a moneymaker and I'm quite satisfied with the results. But it will never become my favorite or my most effective tank of choice. But enough rambling about, let me show you exactly what I mean. Alright, so here we are in another Prokhorovka encounter match. We are this time in our T34 and it's a tier 8 game. Which is great, because honestly, some of the tier 9 and 10 heavies can give you a really tough time if you are trying to play peekaboo with them and they are in a strong position. Because by the time you have managed to aim perfectly at their weak spot, they are now behind cover. Because your aiming time is slow and your movement is slow. So that's less than ideal, but this is a pretty comfortable matchmaking for us. As an added benefit, there is even no artillery in this game, which is always a huge bonus. Looking at the team lineup, I think it's fairly well spread between the two teams, though probably our team has a slight advantage, looking at the XVM statistics. The team distribution is, yeah, so-so. IS-6 is at the moment AFK, IS is lumbering about. Tiger 1, I think he's moving up here with us, but he's very slow, and KV1 did move to that central position now. That central position, lately I did see some good plays there, but I still think the overall best choice to do here, especially if you are in a hull-down loving machine, is to go to the hill. And that's where I'm always going if it's encounter on Prokhorovka. Securing the hill is very important. You can take shots down into the city and you can stop the enemy from rolling you over and basically squeeze you from both sides if they manage to go through the hill. So no luck here taking shots into the city as we move up, and it's not advisable to stop looking for opportunities in a slow machine like the T34 because it takes ages to get up on top of the hill. And we have to be careful as we move up here, because it will take a couple of seconds till the enemy is revealed behind the bushes, because there is quite a lot of concealment there. So a common mistake is just keep rolling and then suddenly realize, oops, there are 2 or 3 heavy tanks in front of me, like that Tiger 1. Yeah, that was a good one. And now that you are lit up, suddenly everybody starts to shoot you. The snipers in front on that little hill on around A0, B0, guys from the town will shoot up as well. And suddenly you are in a heap of trouble. Like me here, I advanced too much. And yeah, you see how slow the M34 can get back, and I just gave up half of my health for no apparent reason. There was really no gain in doing this. I could have taken shots from a safer distance as well, and you did see that there were shots coming up from the city too. So as soon as you are in the middle of this hill, on the top, you become priority number 1 for most of the enemy team. But if we keep up working this ridge carefully, we can take side shots like this on the enemy as they are moving up the hill, either trying to flush us out or trying to take shots into the city themselves. And it's surprising how often players tend to forget that the enemy is waiting for them just to do exactly that. There's quite a lot of movement there, so... Oh, there we go. T21 completely oblivious to the big guns that are aiming down at him. Oh, it's always fun to shoot light tanks with big guns like this. And that VK is doomed with the fire, but... Oh yes, we got a good one on the IS. And you can see the chunks we are taking out of these tanks. The 400 average damage really hurts. STA gets nailed. Oh, there is some action going on up here. Aiming time, come on, come on, come on. Finally! And now quickly back into cover. Because look at the reload of this machine. And if you stay up there, faster firing tanks, and pretty much everybody has a lot better rate of fire than you, especially like Tiger 1s for example. They will shoot you up, and by the time you are reloaded, your health is suddenly gone. Centurion, that would be an important one, especially as in his own full health, but no, just careful. And the match is very, very comfortable at this stage. It's 11-7, but we are in a strong position and they are now squeezed in at the bottom of the hill on their side. And there is one T35/2, probably on B0, and that's quite unfortunate, but at least he doesn't have a monster of a gun. It's a good gun, that T25/2 has, and I like that machine, but we can take a few shots from that one. Okay, Centurion. Yes, that was necessary. And by the way, I really have absolutely no idea what that M41 Bulldog is doing. Maybe he's trying to snipe these guys from the back, but nailing the enemy T25 sniper should be a lot more important. At least we can take out the Centurion, so now it's only the IS, the tank destroyer, and ouch, that did hurt. Okay, IS is done. And we have been lit up, so we will get shot at. And fully aim, always fully aim. Yes, there we go. Excellent. That's why you fully aim, to realize your potential. So this was Prokhorovka in the T34, where we could exploit the optimal conditions successfully and put us in the perfect spot to do some carnage. While doing so, we caused almost 4000 damage, claiming 4 kills, and we did even cause almost 1000 assisted damage as well. For our troubles, we have been awarded with a first-class mastery badge together with a steel wall and high caliber awards. We made plenty of profit as well, earning 119,000 credits and over 1100 base XP. With this, we managed to finish first by damage done and XP earned, and we did tie with the #1 spot for number of kills with our Ramatak Bolzig Waffenträger driver, who did take his fair share of the battle as well. Shooting at T-rates was no problem, and we managed to score 11 penetrations out of the 11 shots fired, making this a rare perfect run. Unfortunately, we got a little careless at the beginning of the match, which could have cost us our tank in a higher tier game. But in the end we did manage to make better use of our armor and eventually bounced 6 shots, worth a potential 870 damage. So that's pretty much what the T34 can do. Just be aware of your weaknesses, because the enemy will be for sure. If you do that, you will have a lot of fun with this heavy tank, and will earn lots and lots of juicy credits. So that was my quick take on the T34. I hope you find it useful. If you did, thank you for considering liking or sharing the video. Next up, we will have some World of Warships action, looking at a different type of lumbering beast in the form of the aircraft carriers. As for new tank reviews, the remaining members of the Stuk family are next on my list, so expect some Type B and Type G action coming your way. Take care guys, and I see you on the battlefield.